So, good evening to one and all. Welcome to day three for this bootcamp of data analysis using Python. Right. So far, we have understood about Python. We have seen why we are using Python. Right. Voice not audible. Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible to everyone? Yes or no? Am I? Okay. Audible. Okay. Perfect. So far we have started out with Python, okay, and we have seen what is a programming language, why we are going to use Python, and in the more depth knowledge we have seen the why we use variables to store data, how exactly it can be useful, right? And we have seen to tackle some of the cons of the variables we are having data structures, right? So in data structures we have seen four kind of data structures that are list, dictionary, tuple, and sets. Okay, today we're going to start with some basic concept like loops and conditional statements. Okay, and there are furthermore other concept of Python which we are not going to cover, but they are necessary when you are moving towards the software industry. Okay, such as OOPS concept. You should know about multiprocessing, multi-threading, and you should know about different modules as well. That is RE, OS, time, date time, and sys module. Okay, so these are not been covered in this bootcamp because the time is very limited. Okay, so let's start and let's continue where we have left. So today we're going to start with a conditional statement. Okay, we're going to understand what is a conditional statement. We're going to make it very short because you guys have to enjoy your weekend as well, right? So then we are going to move towards the loops part. Okay, we're going to understand how exactly a loop will going to help us and what we have to do with that. Okay, so is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Awesome. So let's start today's session. So today we are going to start with, okay, we have understood about the indexing and slicing as well. Awesome. So we are going to start with conditional statements. Conditional statements. Okay. So basically in conditional statements, we have two things. One is the condition and one is the statement. We have one thing as a condition. Okay, so let's change this color. We have one thing is condition and we have statement. Okay, now it has been said as a conditional statement. Okay, it has not been called as a statement condition. The reason being is that over here, if you look forward, first comes the condition, and then afterward it's the statement. It implies that if a condition is satisfied, then only you will going to move towards the statement. Okay, if the condition is not satisfied, you will not going to move to statement. Okay, so that means you have to go this way, okay. If condition is satisfied, then only you can move towards the statement. If condition is not satisfied, you cannot move forward because condition is going to say no, now you cannot move forward to this statement. Okay, so you need to know that for a statement to be executed, its condition needs to be fulfilled. For a statement to be executed, a condition with respect to this statement is needs to be fulfilled. Okay, is it clear? It's just like that, suppose you are a child. Okay, you are a child, and when you are a child, all your decision has been taken by your parents. Okay, all the decision has been taken by your parents, right? So now suppose if someone gives you some proposal, if someone gives you a proposal that, hey, can you do acting in a TV advertisement, right? They will not directly going to contact you. Yes or no? As a child, they will not directly going to contact you. They will going to contact to your parents. Yes or no? Are you here with me? Yes or no? Are you on the same pace? Yes or no? Clear? Perfect. So what happened is that now they were going to contact to your parents that, hey, I want your child to be play as an actor in an advertisement. And though you want to do that or you don't want to do that, because during your childhood you don't have certain perspective that, okay, by doing this you get famous and so on and so forth. No, nothing, right? So all your decision has been taken by your parents, right? If your parents says that, no, I don't want to go with this offer, I don't want to go with this offer. So it is absolutely not possible for the agency. It is absolutely not possible for an agency to directly contact you. Obviously, right? They cannot directly contact you if your parents has already denied the offer. Okay. Okay, so in similar way we have the conditional statement. So over here the role of conditional has been taken up by parents. Okay, let's suppose this condition is the parent and this statement is this child. Okay, so child says that okay, I am going to execute the statement, I don't know anything about it. If you're going to tell me to execute, I'm going to execute. But until and unless parent give a confirmation, until and unless this parent gave a confirmation that okay, you can go ahead, we cannot make sure that this statement will going to get printed. Okay, so for a statement to execute, its condition needs to be satisfied. That means its condition needs to be true. If the condition is not true, that means we are not going to execute this statement. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Yes or no? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, perfect. So now let's understand how exactly we execute this. Okay, we understood that okay, we have conditional statement. For a statement to be executed, a condition needs to be satisfied, right? Now in general, what happened in a real life, in a real life scenario, when we give a condition, how we give a condition? Just imagine that. Suppose we are having, let's take an example. There's an upcoming movie known as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, and let me write it as mom. Okay, multiverse of madness, right? So what happened is that when we first heard about this Doctor Strange mom movie, my friend told me, I especially I've seen some footage and I told my friend that hey, Tom Cruise is going to be Iron Man over here, right? My friend told me no, it cannot be possible, it cannot be possible. I told no, he will definitely will be there, right? First of all, tell me, is there any fan of this multiverse of madness? Anyone excited for that? Anyone? Because if you don't know about that, then definitely it's a worst example for you guys to understand. Okay, is there anyone? Okay, awesome, then you guys can relate this. Okay, perfect. So being a Iron Man fan, I told him that definitely Tom Cruise will be there. So we have a Cold War, and then we had decided that okay, let's bet. Then we decided, let's bet. Okay, if I won, I'm going to do something. If he won, he will going to do something. So what we have done is we have bet. We have taken a bet. We have said that okay, we are going to watch this movie. We are going to watch this movie. If Tom Cruise will be there as an Iron Man, then my friend told me that he will going to pay for the ticket. Okay, let's write over here. If Tom will be there as an Iron Man, what will going to happen? What will going to happen? My friend. Okay, let me do this. My friend will gonna pay. Okay. Otherwise means if this condition will not going to get true. If this condition is not true, obviously it means that I lost the bet, right? Yes or no? So either you can say otherwise, or you can say if Tom will be not there as an Iron Man, right? So I'm going to say otherwise. What will going to happen? I'm going to pay for the ticket. I'm gonna pay for the ticket. Are you guys getting this? This is how we make a condition. This is how we make a condition. Yes or no? May 6th release, exactly. Yeah. It's supposed to release during May, but the time has been extended for that, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, exactly. So now over here, if you look very carefully, you will going to find out that it says if Tom will be there as an action, so as an Iron Man, then it will going to happen. That means if you want this thing to happen, if you want this thing to happen, first you need to make sure that this thing has occurred, right? If I want my friend to pay for the ticket, I have to make sure that this condition needs to be true. That means this is your condition, okay, and this is your statement. If you want this statement to be true, you need to make sure that this condition should be, sorry, if you want this statement to be executed, you need to make sure that this condition needs to be true. Okay, over here as well, condition, otherwise is a condition, okay, and this is your statement, right? If you want this statement to be executed, you have to make sure this otherwise condition needs to be true. Is this clear? Are you guys getting this? What is conditional statement? Are you guys getting this? What is a conditional statement? Yes or no? Are you guys getting this? Yes or no? Awesome. Okay, perfect. Now, if you want to represent this, this is a general way how we make a bet in our real life, right? How we put some condition in real life, right? If, like, suppose tomorrow is our picnic, okay? As a child, we know that, okay, picnic is a special day for us, right? So what happened is that it seems like it's cloudy. So what we make a condition, we make sure that if tomorrow the weather is cloudy, I am going to carry an umbrella to my school, otherwise I'm not going to carry. I hope that many of you have made this kind of decision, right? So over here as well, we make some condition, and you will going to find out the very common thing in making condition is that if something happen, I am going to do something. So all the condition most of the time starts from if, right? If something happen, that signifies a condition. After that condition, you place a statement. After that condition, you place a statement, right? Similar way in Python, the syntax to go with the conditional loop is you need to tell the interpreter what you are going to do, right? You need to tell the interpreter what you're going to do. Now you're telling the interpreter that I'm going to use a conditional statement, okay? So you are going to say if. If is a keyword. If is a keyword that tells the interpreter that you are going to use the conditional statement, okay? Then your condition carry forward by a colon, carry forward it by a colon, okay? This is a syntax, okay? Then you need to have some indentation and then a statement, okay? This indentation is very important, which makes sure that this statement belongs to this piece of code. This statement belongs to this piece of code. If I write like this, if condition statement, and if I write like this statement, okay? So if we are not providing the indentation, so it will be a very confusion state for an interpreter to recognize that which among these two statements will going to satisfy or belongs to this condition, right? So is this condition belongs to this sorry, is this statement belongs to this condition? No, right? So that's how, with the help of the indentation, it makes sure that if there is an indentation, then definitely this statement belongs to this piece of code, and this statement and this statement is absolutely different, okay? So this is a simple syntax for using the conditional statement, right? And this otherwise, if you see otherwise, what does otherwise means? Otherwise means is that you will going to provide a lot of conditions. If any of the condition is not satisfying, then you will going to do this, right? So this otherwise has been replaced by else, okay? Else and otherwise means the same. That if any of the above condition is not satisfying, then you will going to do something, and over here you are having one more statement, okay? And you need to understand that only one condition can be true at once. Only one condition can be true at once. So is this syntax clear to you? Yes or no? Is this syntax clear to you? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. Now if you want to add multiple condition, like suppose I am going to say that Tom Cruise is going to play as an Iron Man, right? So my friends say no, it will be RDJ. Some said that no, it won't be an RDJ. Oh, sorry, it won't be RDJ. It would be some other actor. Okay, it would be Brad Pitt, right? So in this case, you have different condition. If Iron Man happens to be Tom Cruise, something will going to happen, right? If Iron Man happens to be RDJ, something will going to happen, and if Brad Pitt will be the Iron Man, something will going to happen. So over here we have different condition. Right? So if you want to display different condition, you need to use this portion. This is for your first condition. Exactly paste it over here. This is your second condition. This is your third condition, right? Now you need to make sure that any condition that falls between if and else, okay? So what we do is we take some portion of else, that is el from else, and if from if condition, and we have invented elif. Elif. Okay, you need to make sure that when we use elif when you have multiple condition. Okay, like just an example that I have demonstrated with you. I say that, okay, Iron Man will be Tom Cruise. This is one condition. My friend says that no, it will be RDJ. Other friend says no, it will be Brad Pitt, right? So we have multiple conditions, right? So what we do is we use this elf keyword whenever we are dealing with multiple conditions, okay? And this makes sure, this elif makes sure that this condition is a continuation of this block. This condition is a continuation of this block, okay? If you provide, instead of this elif, you provide if, it will also going to work out, but this will going to make sure that this is a separate condition, this is a separate piece of code, this is separate condition, and this is a separate piece of code and separate condition. That's why if you are making a separate condition, then you can use with if inside a if as well. That is known as a nested conditional statement. Otherwise you can go with this elif part. Is this clear? Is this clear? What if Doyle selected for no, he won't. He's already been selected for Black Adam, right? So he won't be for an Iron Man. Okay, is it clear to all of you? Is it clear? Okay, so this is how we use conditional statement. Okay, now we have a concept of nested conditional statement. Nested means in conditional statement inside a conditional statement. Okay, conditional statement inside a conditional statement we're going to understand in a bit, but let's take an example to understand that how exactly we can execute this piece of code in a Python. Okay, so let's come up over here. I'm going to create a variable. Let's say a variable is Tom will be there as an, not an, as the Iron Man. Okay, as the Iron Man, and let me set it to, it could have true, it could have the value as false. Okay, now if I'm assigning this value as true or false, so what will be the data type of this variable? What will be the data type of this variable? Will it be string? Will it be string? I think that it should be string. Is it a string? Is it string? Anyone? Oh, it is true that Tom Cruise will be next Iron Man in Multiverse of Madness. Then I've already won the bet, right? So he will going to pay that. Awesome. It's a boolean, guys. Great. It's a boolean, right? It's a boolean. Perfect. Okay. So it can either be true, it can, or it can be false, right? So we have declared a variable. Okay. Now according to this, I am putting a condition that if this is the variable, if this variable is true, what will going to happen? Who will going to pay? Who will going to pay? My friend. So I'm going to write over here, my friend will gonna pay for the tickets. For the tickets. Okay. Now I can also write that if this statement is false, but I'm going to write else. Okay. If this statement is not true, obviously it will going to false. If this statement is not true, then obviously it will go into false, right? So I'm simply applying this else, and I'm going to paste this statement over here and say I will. Now I'm going to write I will going to pay for the tickets. Okay, so let's say Tom Cruise appear as an Iron Man. Okay, let's say. Okay, what do you think? Who do you want to pay the ticket? Will I am going to pay the ticket or he will? Come on, tell me. Who will going to pay the ticket if this statement, if the value is true? If the value is true, who will going to pay the ticket? Come on. Anyone? He will, exactly. He will. Let's see if Python understand the code, if Python will going to tell me that who will going to pay this ticket. My friend will going to pay the ticket. My friend will going to pay the ticket, right? But if unfortunately, if it happens to be false, then sadly, I have to pay the ticket. Now see, I am going to pay the ticket over here. So this is how the conditional statement works. This is how the conditional statement works. Okay, so if this condition is true, as soon as the interpreter finds out that a condition is true, it will directly going to print the statement and stop. It will going to print the statement and it will going to stop as it will not going to check for other condition. Okay, it will not going to check for other conditions because it has been related to check only one condition at a time. Okay, so as soon as my interpreter has found out that okay, this statement is true, I am going to pay a ticket. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, so over here we have attendance. Okay, let me write over here 100% attendance. Okay, and we have one more as project submission. This will also going to clear many of your doubts. Okay, now I'm going to write that in order to get a certificate, what you need to do, if you are having 100% attendance for the session, if you're having 100% session, what you are going to do, you will going to get a certificate. You will gonna get the certificate. Okay, else what will going to happen, you will not going to get the certificate. You will not going to get a certificate. You will not gonna get the certificate, right? Now again, if it is not recommended that you should only have 100% attendance, but instead you should also have the project submission, right? So now a condition also occurs. Now we have a condition in a condition. We have a condition in a condition situation, right? So instead of this, I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to write one more condition, that if this is true and at the same time if project submission is also true, then you will going to get the certificate. Otherwise you will not going to get any certificate. Okay, this program will going to help you out to understand how exactly you can get the certificate out of this bootcamp. Okay, let's check. Now some people say that okay, I am having 100% attendance, but I have failed to provide the project. I am not providing the project. I have failed to provide the project. What do you think? Are you going to get the certificate or not? Are you going to get the certificate or not? Come on. No, never. Okay, let's see this. Are we going to get the certificate? Come on. No, you will not going to get the certificate. Okay, how about I have done the project and I have submitted the project, but I don't have 100% attendance. I don't have 100% attendance, but I have submitted my project. What do you think? Will you gonna get the project? Oh, sorry. Will you gonna get the certificate? Will you gonna get the certificate? Anyone? No certificate, exactly. Let's try this. You will not going to get the certificate. Okay, so how about you have 100% attendance for the 7 days and you have submitted the project. Now what do you think? Are you going to get the certificate? Are you going to get the certificate? Come on. If both the condition is true, yes, exactly. So now if you are going to run this up, congratulations, you will be getting the certificates. Okay, so if anyone has any doubt regarding the certificate, I hope it is clear with the help of this simple program, right? So you can use this conditional statement to build some kind of minor project such as calculator. You can build a snake water gun game. If you ever have played this game. Anyone have played any this kind of game, snake water gun or rock paper scissors, right? So you can use this if and else condition so that you can make a very minor project of like a game where you can play with computer. Okay, you need a random module, you need an input, and you need a conditional statement. That's it. Okay, perfect. Now This is all about the conditional statement. Okay, so over here you can use multiple. If you want to use multiple condition, you can use this elif part. Okay, otherwise you can use this if condition and else condition. This is everything and all about the conditional statement. I hope it's clear to all of you. Okay, I hope it's clear to all of you. Shall we move forward to the loops? Shall we move forward to the loops? Yes or no? Hand cricket, exactly. You can build that. Yes. Perfect. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. Now we are here to understand about loops. A very, very interesting topic. Sometimes being trickier, okay, but very helpful. Okay, we are over here to discuss about loops. Okay, so over here if you see, this is a loop, this is a loop, and this is also a loop. Okay, so we are talking about loops. Okay, what exactly is a loop? Just understand, we have a circular object, we have a circular object. Okay, now in this circular object, if this is a starting point, if this is a starting point, okay, this will also be acting as the ending point as well. Okay, if you are creating a loop or if you are creating this circle, you will always will going to find out that suppose if this is an athlete ground. Okay, if the if the race starts from here, it will end here only, it will also going to end here only, right? So that means the starting point and the ending point is same, the starting point and the ending point is same. Yes or no? Yes or no? In a loop, the starting point and the ending point is absolutely the same. Okay, so loop is that something that goes on, something that repeats, something that repeats. Like an example, we have years. Okay, we have a calendar, right? We have a calendar, right? So now if you see a calendar, calendar is a loop. Calendar is a loop. How many months we have? We have 12 months, right? From starting from January till December, right? Now what happens that if when we reach toward December, what is the next month? What is the next month? Again it starts from January. Again it starts from January, right? So if you see an example over here, if this is a loop, over here it's January. Let's say this is January. This is your February. This is your March. Then you have April. Then you have May. Then you have June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Don't you think this is a loop? This is a loop. We have started out with January, then February will going to occur, then March, and so on and so forth. And when it occurs December, again the same loop we are going to get in the same loop. Again the same thing. January, February, and so on and so forth. This is also a loop. Yes or no? Happy New Year to you as well. Okay, it is a loop. Yes or no? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? Right? So this is a loop. Loop is something that goes on and on in a repeated manner. Okay, that goes on and on in a repeated manner. Okay. Now in Python, we have two kind of loops. Okay, we have one is as a for loop and other as a while loop. Okay, so we have for loop, that is known as a pure loop. For loop is a pure loop. Okay, and then we have a while loop. Then we have a while loop. Okay, so I'm not going to give an example of that Dormavo stuff because I have already given that in the previous bootcamp. So now it will be old. So just understand, this is known as a loop. Okay, like as we are having a calendar, this is a loop. Okay, that goes on and on and on. When you start from one point, you goes on and you ends at the same point. Okay, okay, perfect. Now in Python we have two kind of loop. One is a for loop and other is a while loop. Okay, now we're going to find out what is the difference between for loop and while loop. Okay, and second of thing is that when to use which loop. Okay, like suppose you are writing a piece of code and you required a loop. Okay, you required a loop. Now you will going to say that which loop do I go with? Should I go with while loop or should I go with for loop? Right, so let's understand the for loop concept, then we're going to move towards the while loop. Okay, for loop says that you need to tell me how many times you need to go around. For loop says that you need to tell me how many times you need to go around to this circle. Okay, that means let's suppose if over here we are having a ground, this is a ground, just assume that this is a ground. Okay, this is an athlete, this is an athlete. Okay, you are telling this athlete that you need to make 10 rounds, you need to make 10 rounds of this ground. Okay, with respect to I don't care whether you get tired, whether you get yourself hurt, or whether any uncertainty happen. I don't care anything happens, you just make 10 rounds over here. Okay, no condition will going to give you some advantage over here, just make 10 rounds and that's it. Okay, so this is known as a for loop. This is known as a for loop, where you will going to tell the program that how many times you want this loop to run, how many times you want this loop to run. This is known as a for loop. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Which is mostly useful, for or while loop? It's totally dependent. Okay, mostly for loop is being used as compared to the while loop. Okay, but they both have different scenarios. Okay, they both have different scenarios. Okay, in for loop you need to give how many loops do you want, how many loops do you want, and how many times do you want that loop to go on and on and on. Okay, we're going to understand why for loop is a pure loop. Okay, just a second. Okay, is this clear? Okay, now what happens in while loop is, while loop says that, hey, I am an infinite loop. While loop is an infinite loop. Okay, over here for loop is not an infinite loop. Okay, so over here you are giving the command to for loop that you need to run 10 times or 15 times, 20 times, 100 times and 1000 times. Whereas while loop says that you don't need to tell me how many times I need to run. I am going to run infinitely. I am going to run infinitely. You don't need to tell me or command me that how many times I should run as you are doing in for loop. I am only going to stop. I am only going to stop when a condition is false. I am only going to stop when a condition becomes false. Otherwise, as until and unless the condition is true, I am going to go on and on and on and on. Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Is this clear to all of you? Are you guys getting this? Perfect. Okay, so that's the difference between the for loop and the while loop. Okay, while loop is used when you know how many times you want a loop to run. Okay, while loop is being used when you are not sure that how many times you want to run the loop, but you want the loop to only stop when a condition is true. Okay, if a condition is true, sorry, if a condition is false. Okay, if a condition is true, the loop will going to run. If a condition is false, then only your loop will going to stop. Then only your loop will going to stop. Okay, now why I am telling you that why for loop is a genuine loop and why for loop is a true loop or is an actual loop, right? Now the reason being is that over here the for loop is a genuine where is this? Yeah, now the for loop is a genuine part because for loops focuses on the loops part, that how many times you need to run. Whereas this while loop also has an inbuilt capability of conditional statement. Okay, because while loop is based on a condition. While loop is based on a condition. So while loop is a mixture of conditions and the loop. While loop is a condition or is a mixture of conditional statement and the loops concept, right? Because while loop says that I am going to run in a form of loop. Okay, so that satisfies the loops theory. Okay, and I'm only going to stop when a condition is false. That means you're also involving conditional statement, and this is inbuilt. This is inbuilt. You are not presenting something. Okay, even though you can use conditional statement in for loop, but that is not an inbuilt part, right? But in while loop, this conditional statement comes as inbuilt. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, perfect. So now let's see with the for loop. Let's see the example for loop. Okay, You want to use a for loop. Similar way, you need to tell Python interpreter that what you want to do. Okay, so over here you are using conditional statement, so you have used this if keyword to let the interpreter know that you are going to use conditional statement. Okay, so similar way, if you want to use a for loop, you will going to tell the interpreter with the keyword for that I am going to use for loop. If you're using while loop, then you have to tell the interpreter with the keyword of while that I am going to use a while loop. Okay, so let me write over here a condition. Let me write over here as a statement for I in range print hello world. Okay, let's understand what exactly this piece of code means. Okay, for simple, that means you are using a for loop. Okay, I in range, you need to first understand what exactly is this range. What exactly is this range, right? So often you might have you definitely whenever you are looking or surfing on your e-commerce website, right? Suppose you want to purchase a phone. Okay, so everyone has its budget. Everyone has his budget. Okay, so what you do is, suppose your budget allows you to take you purchase a phone till 15,000. Okay, so from 15,000 you cannot go with that, right? So what you do is you apply a filter of a range. You apply a range filter. What is a range filter? You say that show me only those phones, show me only those phones which are up to 15,000, which are up to 15,000, because that's my upper limit. That's my upper limit. I cannot pay a single penny above that, right? So what happens is that your range becomes from 0 to 15,000. You definitely must have seen this kind of filters on e-commerce, right? 0 to 15,000, 15,000 and 1, or 15,000 1 to something 20,000 or something like that. You must have seen these kind of filters. Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? So what happened is that what exactly these mean? These are the ranges. These are the ranges. It says that this is your lower limit, this is your lower limit, that means this is your starting point, and this is your upper limit. That means anything that falls under this range, anything that falls under this range we are going to provide, right? That means a phone can be of 16,000, a phone can be of 17,000, 18,000 will going to be displayed because it is under this range. Are you guys getting the concept of range? Are you guys getting the concept of this range? Yes or no? Are you guys clear with the concept of this range? Right? So similarly over here we are saying that range 0 to 10, that means 0 is the lower limit and 10 is the upper limit. Okay, so when we say 0 to 10, anything that comes in between is a part of this range, right? So what all are coming in between? It's 0, it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9, right? We are saying, is 1 is in the range of 0 to 10? Yes, it is. Is 7 is in the range of 0 to 10? Yes, it is. Is 9 is in the range of 0 to 10? Yes, it is. But we are not going to include 10. We are not going to include 10 because over here the starting point is inclusive and the ending point or the stopping point is exclusive. Inclusive means that you are going to include this in a range. Okay. Exclusive means that you are not going to include this. Okay. If someone says I want to purchase a phone, or I want to purchase a cell phone with the range of like 10,000. I want 10 rupees. Let's say 10 rupees. This is 0 rupees, 1 rupees, 2 rupees and all that, right? If this says that I want to purchase 10 rupees, so range will not be 0 to 10. The range will not be 0 to 10. It could either be 0 to 11 or it could be 10 to furthermore any other part, right? So that's why this 10 will be exclusive. We are not going to include this 10. Okay, so let me print over here as I. So what will going to happen, that in this range we have these many numbers. How many iterations it will going to follow? It will going to follow 10 iteration. Iteration first, iteration second, iteration third, fourth, fifth and so on and so forth, 10th iteration, right? What happened is that when the first iteration occurred, what happened? 0 will going to come first. 0 will going to come first in this range. Yes or no? 0 will going to come first. If I say tell me the counting between 100 to 200, right? So you will obviously going to start from 100 only. You will not going to start the counting from 150 or 151. Yes or no? You're going to start the counting from 100, then 101, 102, and so on and so forth. Similarly, we have a range from 0 to 10. Okay, and in this range, these are the numbers that will going to follow. Right? When the first iteration occur, this I is a variable. What is a variable? A storage or a bucket. Okay, so the value is 0. A value is 0 on the first iteration, so I will going to store the value. I will going to store the value because I is over here is a variable that stores the value. On the first iteration, the value comes out to be 0, so I will going to store the value of 0, and what we are telling it to print the value of I. When it will going to print the value of I, it will be 0 only, right? So now first iteration is done. Next, the second iteration. When the second iteration will going to occur, value will be 1. I will going to have the value of 1 and it will going to get printed. And similarly, it will going to go on and on and on. If you are going to run this up, you will going to see, sorry. Yeah, if you are going to run this up, you will going to see it is exact same output that we have over here. Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? Yes or no? Are you guys getting this? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. So this is how a for loop works, because you need to tell this range function is very important for loop, because you're telling for loop that how many times you need to run. I say that you need to run 10 times, you need to run 10, 20 times. I need to tell the for loop. It will not going to go infinitely. It will not going to go infinitely. If you want to make it infinitely, you need to use the concept of list, and then you can make it infinite. Whereas it doesn't have the inbuilt feature of being an infinite. You need to tell, you need to give a command at how many times you need to run, right? This is all about the for loop. Okay, let's talk about the while loop. Let's talk about the while loop. While loop says that I am going to run if the condition is true. If a condition is true. Okay, let's take a condition. Let's say this is a counter value. Let's say 10, or not 10, let's say 5. Okay, over here I am going to give you a condition. I'm going to give a condition. I'm going to give a condition as uh let's say count, not count, I say 10 is greater than count. If it happens, print hello world. Now if I ask you, is this condition true or false? Is this condition true or false? Come on. Is this condition true or false? Come on. It's true, right? And we have understood why it's false. It won't be false. It will true. It will be true, right? Because 10 is greater than count. Count has the value as 5. 10 is greater than 5. Okay. So this condition is absolutely true. Okay. And we know while loop will going to go on and on and on and on unless and until condition becomes false. But since this condition is true, what happened on the first iteration? It will going to check. Is the condition true? Yes, it is. It will going to print this. Second iteration, condition is true. It will going to print this. And it will be an infinite loop. Excuse me. Okay, so can you see the interpreter is still working? Interpreter is still working because it is an infinite loop. It is going on and on and on and on. Can you see this? And it is still going on. Okay? Okay? Infinite loop, exactly. Exactly. Okay? So just let's stop this. Let's tell the interpreter to kindly stop this, please, because it will going to go on and on. It will going to consume a lot of memory. Sorry. Perfect. Now it has been stopped, right? Now let me add one more condition over here is, count is equals to count plus 1. Count is equals to count plus 1. Now what happened is that I am telling that go on with your iteration. When the first iteration will going to occur, it will going to check the condition. Is 10 is greater than count? Yes, it is, because it is 5. So I am printing hello world. Okay. And next I'm telling is to reassign the value of count. That means this count, this is the same count. Now change the value of count with adding 1 to this previous value. Right? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? Yes or no? Okay. I'm telling it over here that kindly change the value of this count by incrementing 1. So what will going to happen? Now the value of this count becomes 6. Again it will going to check. It will say no, condition is true. It will going to print this. Now it will going to go on and on and on and on when the value of count become 10. Okay, so the condition over here will be, is 10 greater than 10, which is absolutely false. No number can be greater than or lesser than itself, right? So when the condition becomes false, this while loop will going to stop. So let me put over here as count so you can see what is the value of count in each iteration. See over here. On the first iteration, the value of count was 5. Yes, value of count was 5. But we have appended it by 1, or we have add extra 1 to it. It becomes 6, 7, 8 and 9. And as soon as the value becomes 10, right? As soon as the value becomes 10, what happened is that we have already break the loop because the condition becomes false. If I print the count value over here, if I print the count value, you will going to see the value is 10. The value over here is 10 and no number can be greater than or equal to itself. That's why if the condition becomes false, your while loop will going to stop. Is this clear? Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Okay. Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Okay. So that's all for about the loops. Okay. That's all about the loops. So that's all for today as well. So tomorrow onwards, we're going to start with NumPy. And after that, we're going to start with pandas. We're going to do some data analysis using some data sets. Okay. And apart from that, I will be giving you some projects, and based on the projects, you need to complete it within a given time frame, and you can receive that certificate. Okay, so that's all for today. This is all for today. Tomorrow we're going to start with NumPy. Okay, let me give you your attendance link for day 3. What do you want to know about data analytics? What do you want to know about data analytics? We have already discussed about data analytics on day 1st. Okay, you can refer to that. You can refer to that as well, right? Thank you so much, Prathmesh. Matplotlib, if we get time, we'll definitely going to discuss about Matplotlib and Seaborn as well, because without visualization, data analytics cannot be done. Okay, perfect. Any more question? I've already given you the attendance link for day 3 and it has been pinged up on the chat section at the top, so you guys can refer to that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Sunday evening, have a great time. Are you discuss stop words? Not getting this question. Are you discuss stop words? Be precise with your question, please. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. Let's meet tomorrow and we're going to start with some another topic. Till then, have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Be safe and see you all soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.